Hi there, and welcome back. What we're going to do in this video is look at another indeterminate form, infinity minus infinity. And it's indeterminate because it does not always yield the same value. There's times when it ends up being 0, there's times when it ends up being infinity, there's times when it ends up being negative infinity, it can end up being 1. There's just a lot of options here. Okay, so the question is, how do we analytically go through this to figure out what the limit is? And one of the strategies we like to use with radicals is to employ the conjugate, because that helps us to rewrite the expression. So I'm going to multiply this by the square root of x squared plus 9x plus x over the square root of x squared plus 9x plus x. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to put these in parentheses here as well. So we have the limit as x approaches infinity of, well, let's just see here. So the denominator is now the square root of x squared plus 9x plus x. Now the numerator, when these two get multiplied together, the radicals just go away. So we have x squared plus 9x. The whole purpose of multiplying by the conjugate is to eliminate the outers and the inners. And you notice we get x times the square root and then minus x times the square root. So they do go away. And then the last times the last is minus x squared. And what we notice is this has simplified quite considerably. So you have limit as x approaches infinity of 9x over square root x squared plus 9x plus x. Now you might remember before in an earlier challenge that we evaluated a limit just like this, where we, the process is we divide by the highest power of x in the denominator. Now, what that means is I'm going to divide by square root of x squared, which remember is x, and it just so happens that they're the same power in the denominator. So we're going to use each one as it's relevant. So I'm going to divide 9x by x. I'm going to divide the square root by the square root of x squared. And I'm going to divide x by x. And remember, the x squared under the square root and x are the same because x is positive. Okay, we're going to positive infinity. So this is the limit x approaches infinity of 9 over, now that's a more complicated square root now. This is x squared plus 9 over x squared plus 1. And now we'll simplify under the radical a little bit more. So that's equals to limit as x approaches infinity, 9 over. Now, if I divide through by x squared, that is the square root of 1 plus 9 over x squared plus 1. And now if we take the limit as x approaches infinity, this term right here goes to 0. And now we're down to 9 over square root of 1 plus 1, which is 9 halves. So maybe not an intuitive result, but that limit is 9 halves. So infinity minus infinity could be 9 halves. Could be 1, could be 4, could be 0. It's indeterminate, which means we don't always know its value. So there's our limit.